The number one trait that all successful people have is being abnormal to the people, society, and culture around them. For my examples, I'm going to be talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, KSI, Steve Jobs, and Conor McGregor. Success stories often serve as a source of inspiration and guidance for individuals aspiring to achieve greatness in their chosen fields. Arnold is an example of this. From his humble beginnings in Austria to becoming a global icon in bodybuilding, a movie star, and politics. Arnie's journey is a testament to his unwavering determination, multifaceted talents, and his strategic choices that he made. The things that helped Arnold and the other people on this list are relentless ambition, unconventional self-belief, adaptability, tireless work ethic, risk-taking, being charismatic, and continuous self-improvement. Way back, from a young age, Arnold dreamt of leaving his small Austrian town and making a name for himself in the United States. But mind you, this came after the fact of Austria suffering the effects of the recent World War II. The men were left battered, mainly mentally, and that led to some of the abuse that went on inside of their homes, including Arnie's. His father was kind at times, but as a result of war, took his frustrations, pain, and anger out on his wife and sons. Even in the Arnold documentary on Netflix, Arnold said this helped him to become stronger, as where in the case of his brother, it killed him. Arnold's older brother, Meinhard, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, died as a result of drunk driving. Arnold was shown to be reflecting on this, saying how talented and gifted his brother was. But along with that came his softer nature. So eventually all this trauma that he went through reached its breaking point. To think that Arnold could have left his small town in Austria, then go to America, a land where he barely understands or speaks the language, and became famous for bodybuilding is amazing. Not only that, but as where most normal people would stop there, he went for new heights. This included becoming a movie star and a politician. While I say these great feats, he did have his fair share of difficulties with them. This included a bunch of naysayers, people not wanting to work with him, and more. Though, despite all these obstacles, whatever Arnie wanted, he achieved it all the way. Next, let's move on to the YouTuber, boxer, rapper, and business owner of Prime, KSI. KSI started as a YouTuber making dumb videos for fun. Eventually, he built up a big following and helped founded the Sidemen. He was different from how people were around him. As an introvert, and him pursuing YouTube alienated himself from his parents for a bit. His parents saw it as just a hobby and not a long-term thing. And personally, I don't blame them. They came from a different country where things moved differently. Especially at the time when KSI was making videos early on, YouTubers weren't what they are now. Now we've got people like Mr. Beast running multiple channels, making multi-millions, and having multiple businesses. However, back then, YouTube was getting its feet off the ground. YouTubers that helped were KSI, Smosh, PewDiePie, Nigahiga, Jenna Marbles, and more. So back then, it was unfathomable for regular people like his parents to think of him becoming larger than life and not just becoming another statistic. KSI's ability to diversify his talents is a key factor in his successes. He seamlessly transitioned from gaming videos to music, producing hit singles and albums that charted on mainstream platforms. This versatility allowed him to appeal to a broader audience and extend his reach beyond his initial niche. This is similar to what happened with Arnold. Especially being a YouTuber, people see you more as one of them. Problem with that is that it can limit some creators in future endeavors and pursuits. KSI diversifying his brand helps other YouTubers to know that you're not bound to just one thing, and that if you want it with all your heart and your soul, then no one else can take it from you. Allow us, as we move on to Steve Jobs, everybody. Steve Jobs, known for being one of the founders of Apple, is a beacon of success. One of the things that helped Steve Jobs was his attention to detail and perfectionism. Jobs' relentless attention to detail and commitment to perfectionism shaped his approach to product development. He had an uncanny ability to see the minutest aspects of a product and its user interface. This ensured that every element was aligned with his vision. Nothing was ever too big or too small for him. Even when other people that were working on his products said that the changes he requested for were so small that nobody else would notice or care, he didn't settle for anything less. That's what I believe is truly the golden standard. Another aspect that helped Steve was his visionary thinking and bold ideas. He possessed an innate ability to envision products and concepts that were ahead of his time. His revolutionary dream drove the creation of iconic products like the Apple Macintosh, iPod, iPhone, and iPad. These helped reshape industries and redefine the way people interact with technology. Finally, we're at our last great man, Conor McGregor. One of the things that helped him was his unmatched confidence. His self-assurance enabled him to envision his path to victory, whether it was inside the octagon or in life, and tirelessly work towards it. This helped him despite him working as a plumber in the beginning and not making much money from the art of combat. He was constantly told that what he was dreaming of was foolish and that he should be realistic. Thank goodness he didn't listen to his haters. The selling point of McGregor's success is his charismatic personality and showmanship. His ability to captivate audiences through his words and actions turned him into a global phenomenon. McGregor's press conferences and pre-fight trash talk became so legendary, elevating his fights into the grand spectacles that transcended the sport itself. He definitely helped the UFC become what it is now. By him doing all of this, it helped people like myself get into the sport and learn more about it. I've always wanted to talk about this topic for the longest time. This is because I believe that all successful people have traits that make them different from the people and society around them. This is what I believe you will need for success in whatever fields you're in, although this does come with its fair share of difficulties and shortcomings. For example, Arnold's control of his emotions that helped him when he was in bodybuilding was the same thing that distanced him from his family back home in Austria. For KSI, there's certain things that he's said that come off as egotistical, like him saying he could knock out a horse, beat Mike Tyson, or the events that happened at Simon and Talia's wedding in Italy. For Steve Jobs, a negative trait was that everyone who was great at their jobs was amazing and a genius to him. On the other hand, if he thought you were terrible, then you would be regarded as an idiot and a dipshit. For Conor McGregor, his same showmanship that made him great on stage is the same thing that makes him look bad off stage. For example, he had an incident where he and his entourage were damaging a bus and him punching an old man at the pub. These were to show that every good aspect also has its negative one as well. I'm in no way shaming these men or saying I'm better than them as a human being. Just know that certain qualities you may have or get to attain success can also be the same things that harm you in other aspects of your life. That being said, if you have big goals, whether you want to be a doctor, YouTuber, athlete, painter, whatever you want, go for it. You may not be able to relate to your friends and family for a bit, you may seem obsessive and egotistical, but I promise you, it will be one of the best decisions you make for yourself in the long run. Thank you for watching. This has been Black Sugar Lovin', out.